You've unlocked a Roundtable.
What's up, Lost Levelers, and welcome to Lost Levels Roundtable discussion of Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. My name's Chris. With me, as always, is Alex.
Hello.
And we just watched Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse.
Just in time for after Halloween.
Yeah. It opened this weekend. The movie theater that we went into, we watched it on a Sunday afternoon during the NFL season, so I didn't expect too many people to be in the theater. Also, but one thing before I get into this, our roundtable discussions are non-spoiler
Up until a point.
So we will talk about this, give it a full review in a non-spoiler way, and then at the very end of the cast, we will go into spoilers, but we will give you an adequate warning before that. So just giving you guys a heads up in case you were worried about us being spoilerific. But yeah, so we watched this on a Sunday afternoon, and the theater had maybe 10 people in it.
Maybe.
Including us?
Yeah, it was less than a dozen.
Yeah, definitely less than a dozen people. So not many people saw this movie, and we usually go to the Marcus Theater where we live here, and this theater that we always go to didn't even show this movie.
No, we had to go to a more lowly peon-filled.
We went to an AMC.
Yeah, we went to the AMC. We'll just call it what it is. It is the target of theaters.
Yeah, I mean, obviously AMC is a hugely popular theater company throughout the U.S., and I don't know if they're in Canada or whatever, but
I don't know. Not important.
we used to go there all the time. And since Marcus kind of upgraded their theater and put lush seating,
an open a bar they could bring drinks from into the theater.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. That's the reason why I like that place so much, is I can bring drinks into the theater and just watch a movie.
And sometimes we need it for the movies that we see.
That's true. Because of you, we review movies that we wouldn't necessarily want to watch
Otherwise.
So yeah, we definitely do drink a couple beers before we go watch some of these movies and get through them, so we can review them and talk to you guys about them. But yeah, it's so we went from a theater that we really enjoy having seats that we could pick, that we don't have to go in line for. It feels like outdated for...
Such a downgrade for what we're used to.
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, we were sitting there, so we got there a little bit too early, and then we were kind of just sitting there, kind of like, God, this feels weird. So I'm sorry, Marcus, for cheating on you.
Yeah, it kind of felt like we were sitting there waiting for our moms to pick us up from the mall.
Right.
Weird.
Yeah, a lot of kids running around, but none of them seeing Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, because this was a rated R movie.
Yeah, and it earned it.
I would say, yeah, definitely. So this movie is not on a lot of people's radar. You saw some commercials here and there for it. I watch a lot of TV, or I record a lot of TV, and I fast forward the commercials, but I do see commercials for this in some of the shows that I watch. So there is some pub for it.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it until probably a few nights ago when you're like, we're going to go see this. I was like, okay.
Well, because we needed a movie to review this week, and
We did.
It was going to be this or the chef movie.
Burnt.
Yeah. So I think that I wanted to save you from Burnt, and I chose Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. And in retrospect, was my decision good?
We will find out.
No, I was asking you. What did you think about this?
I don't know. There's nothing very striking in this movie. Nothing really stands out about it. It's another zombie movie. Let's say that. I mean, the genre hasn't been really revolutionized since maybe Zombieland.
That's true. Yeah, Zombieland really gave it a fresh paint.
Right. Zombieland, Shaun of the Dead, these very kitschy zombie movies that have, some style to them and a lot of character. And this movie felt like it was trying to do that, but just didn't quite fully get there.
Yeah, like, it's funny because you said you couldn't really, like, think about, like, how you think about this movie. The whole entire time I was watching this movie, the way that I was looking at it, I'm like, this is the equivalent of an Edgar Wright Shaun of the Dead if a 13-year-old wrote it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it has a lot. Like, I think that a 15-year-old or like a teenage kid would love this movie because it has that kind of feel to it. So I kind of felt like it doesn't have the smart adult like humor that an Edgar Wright script has. It's just a generic knockoff.
Yeah, definitely.
That doesn't necessarily feel to the quality level of what those movies were in any directed like road like any of it.
No,
It just feels like a cheap knockoff of it and something that a teenage kid would love to see.
I totally agree with that. I feel like there were elements there that could have been really good, but if a stronger director and a stronger script and stuff like that was behind it, it could have been pulled off very well. But in this movie, it all just kind of falls flat.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not sure who wrote it, but like the person behind it had to have been thinking, okay, what would a 15-year-old boy like to see? Okay, we're gonna have a group of kids who have been friends for a long time, and they're going to run into a super hot girl, and she's gonna be part of their kick because that's what kids want to see. The super attractive girl hanging out with them, who is 2 foot taller than all of them, which was distracting to me because she was like an Amazon woman compared to them.
Right.
Very attractive though. Don't get me wrong, but like I felt like that was just a total 15-year-old's idea of like, let's have this really attractive, super strong woman hang out with them, and
who's obviously significantly older than them.
Yeah,
because they're talking about going to their junior year of high school, and she's buying beer.
Right.
She's a cocktail waitress. Like it's kind of a weird dynamic between the whole group.
That's true because their junior year, they're about 15, 16, and at one point, she asks the lead character to kiss her.
Yeah, it's very weird. I mean, it wasn't like it wasn't as in, oh, you're super hot and cute, kiss me. It's like, here, I am an older woman. I've been around the block. I know how to do relationship stuff. Let me show you how to kiss. That was the
right
onus behind it.
She was trying to be
but
like
still really fucking weird when you think about there's.
You know what? I didn't think it was weird because in my head I had it that she recently graduated, like she had her GED or whatever. So I didn't put the correlation to like, oh shit, she actually did buy them beer. So she's over 21. And now that you just said that, like, yes, it has a whole nother layer to what I was thinking about it. Wow. Okay. So yeah, that is kind of weird. The other part of that too, was like, it just felt like a kid wrote this whole entire thing. Because you're like, what would a 15-year-old boy want to do? Oh, hell yeah, he wants to go to a strip club.
Right. Wants to go to a strip club, wants to kiss a hot girl.
So they have a scene in the strip club, obviously, because that's what a kid would want to see. That's just basically what this movie felt like to me. Like, I don't really have a lot of critiquing about it, just because I just felt like
it's not for you.
Yeah, it's weird. I think the problem with this movie, setting it apart from making it just a mediocre, forgettable type of movie, rather than a cult classic, would be the script takes a long time to get going.
Very much so.
For a movie that's called Zombie Guide or Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, you kind of just want to get to the action scenes. You don't necessarily want to try to build a character development in the first act because you don't care. You want to see.
I was expecting more of seeing their scout skills in use.
Right. Like they spent a lot of time in the first act just establishing these characters, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. You're watching a movie about the zombie apocalypse. You're not really thinking about these characters developing or having a huge story arc. So why are you taking the time to develop that in the first act? You don't need to.
No, I mean,
speed things up.
Right, because you know there's friends. You know, 2 of them don't want to be the scouts anymore. 1 does, and you get that. That's all you really need. But they spent a lot of time on it. And it's just...
Yeah, it's a 93-minute running time, and realistically...
Oh, God, it felt longer.
Yeah, it was only 93 minutes long.
That's surprising. It did feel quite...
Because of the first act bogged it down. You could have said everything that you needed to say within 10 minutes of the first act and just let the apocalypse happen, and then call it a day. And then that would have been a tighter felt script, and you would have probably had more fun with this movie, to be honest. because once they finally got to those parts, they were over the top, tongue in cheek humor that you would expect from this movie.
Yeah, and I think those scenes worked when they were done right. But everything building up to that was just not so much.
Yeah, there's so much better movies out there that you can watch that are more satisfying in terms of the zombie apocalypse. I mean, we've done zombie apocalypse to death at this point.
Ha ha ha.
Yeah, no pun intended, but it's I don't know. What do you want to say? Because like you can't really comment on the actors' abilities or anything like that. I mean, this is just a kid's script.
Yeah, and
the actors were fine.
Yeah, they did what they could with the script.
The attractive woman, she played the attractive woman very well.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Dumont is her name. She plays Denise. Yeah. But the other characters didn't really matter to me.
No, they didn't. I mean, and just like I felt just a lot of everything that happened, a lot of that plot points and everything like that, were not getting into too much detail, not going into spoilers. It just a lot of it just felt convenient, just because we need to push the movie along somehow. Let's do it because of movies.
Because I'm convinced that if a kid wrote this.
Yeah. It just
I know that's not true. I'm sure there was somebody that like wanted to use the perspective of a child writing this, but it just felt like everything that a 15-year-old boy would want to see is in this movie. You have, nudity, you have just over the top violence, and just dumb humor.
Yeah, exactly. Swearing and dick jokes and the like.
Yeah, so like if you're in your mid-20s or whatever and you enjoy that type of humor, this is probably a movie for you.
Yeah, I enjoy it when it's done really well. It just wasn't done really well.
That's what I think it is. I think that's for me. Like, I don't mind that humor either. I can watch a dumb movie. God knows I do.
Yes, you do.
But I think I expected a little bit more from it, and I didn't get that. So, do you have anything else to say about it?
No.
Okay. Final thoughts.
This is a movie that had potential that just it didn't quite live up to, just because of a poor script and just a weird treatment on it. It could have been done a lot better if it kind of stuck to its theme a lot harder, with them being scouts and using their abilities to fight off zombies. But it barely focuses on that and uses more of the scouts as a crutch for a character arc that doesn't really go much of anywhere.
Well said.
So you could, unless you're really into zombie movies, this is one you can really skip.
Yeah, there's really nothing here that brings it out. I wanted it to. Like, I was actually excited for this. I really wanted to see a just comedic zombie movie because I enjoy them. Like you mentioned earlier, Shaun of the Dead or Zombieland.
We haven't had a good one in a while. The last one was probably Zombieland.
I enjoy that stuff, and like the zombies in this are definitely not like a Romero zombie or like something, or like a Walker on The Walking Dead.
No.
These are definitely over the top type of zombies that kind of just have their own life that doesn't really have any
continuity.
Yeah, like they're not like your traditional zombies where they're walking slow or something that you're used to. They're kind of this.
They're not.
Own
Yeah,
thing.
they're not the shambling zombies, but they're not the sprinting running zombies from the 28 Days or Dawn of the Dead. It's kind of a brisk jog.
Yeah, and they almost have like a personality still to them.
Yeah, that also kind of threw me off because I just never seen that. The stripper zombie being surprised. Like, you never see a zombie get surprised.
Yeah.
So there's just things you wouldn't expect out of a zombie flick.
They had some zombie tropes to them, obviously, like killing them by shooting them in the head.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they kind of just took liberties with the genre and wanted to do whatever they wanted to do with it and just let it be. Because maybe at the time when they were writing it, they tried to say, all right, we're not going to be the Romero zombie. We're not going to be those other zombies from 28 Days. We're just going to do our own thing with this and have fun with it. And whatever it is, it is.
Mm-hmm.
And okay for that. I'm not saying that you need to follow those tropes for zombies by any means. Do something different make it interesting. But at the end of the day, I just think that this movie for me personally doesn't live up to what I hoped it would be.
I totally agree.
So that being said, I would probably just say watch it if it's free on Netflix. Check that out. If you're really bored, you have nothing else to do, and there's a couple jokes in there that hit.
Yes.
There's some stuff in here that I enjoyed, like I did chuckle, but for the most part, it is kind of forgettable.
Very much so.
How can we reach you, Alex?
You can follow me on Twitter. My name there is Alex Sandberg, AlexSanberg, or you can email me directly at the website, alex@lostlevel.com. What about you, Chris?
I'm on Twitter /calm intensity. LostLevel.com has all of our social media. It's in the upper right hand corner. You can click on the little links. It'll take you all to all of them. We're on YouTube. We have some exclusive content on YouTube now that we're trying to promote. So definitely check that out on our YouTube page. Go to iTunes. Go to pretty much everywhere.
Our Facebook, our Twitter, all that good stuff.
Yeah, we're all over the place. So definitely check that out. Hang on. We'll go into spoilers a little bit here and talk a little bit more about Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. So thanks for listening, and hang on for spoilers. Spoiler
time.
All right. Hanging from the bedroom window by a penis.
It was probably the best joke out of this movie.
Yeah. So if you didn't catch it because Alex laughed, our main
protagonist,
he has to escape the zombies. And the way they do so is jumping out a window onto a trampoline and jumping over a fence. You know, totally plausible, makes sense to me. However, there's zombies on the trampoline, so he needs to find a way to get out the window, but at the same time, by latching on, he grabs onto a zombie's old man penis.
An old man zombie penis. And he starts to fall back, and that thing stretches like a bungee cord.
Yes.
It's pretty hilarious, but pretty horrifying as well, if you're a guy.
Yeah, so he stretches that thing right off.
Yeah.
And rips it off and jumps and survives, luckily, but still holding the penis.
Yeah.
So that gag worked.
That was probably the best gag out of the movie, I think. It is the most memorable, I would say.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the gags that worked. Obviously, boobs... gag works like there's a callback to the
busty cop.
Yeah,
yes.
Seeing the busty cop early in the movie, and then seeing her as a zombie later, and her boob and her shirt getting ripped open.
Yes,
and one of our protagonists cop in a field before they run away.
Right.
Total 15-year-old
exactly
wet dream.
Yeah,
and that's in large part of a 15-year-old wrote this. That's exactly what they would want. Like, I want to see that chick's boobs.
I touch a boob even though it's a dead boob.
Yeah, I want to check that chick's boobs out. I can with this script, see?
Totally. Yes. that is a big proponent to that 15-year-old script.
Yeah, what else do you want to talk about in spoilers here?
I don't know. Just some of the parts where everything felt too convenient for it happening. Like at the end when they're stuck in the basketball court and they're about to blow themselves up, and lo and behold, hot chick comes out of nowhere. Like, hey, I knew exactly that you'd be in this room if you crawl up this duct somehow.
How the hell did she crawl up the garbage chute for industrial... I'm trying to think of a movie that's off the top of my head that people have seen that has that garbage chute that people go down. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's been several movies that I've watched with it. Largely when there's large construction in big buildings, they have outside of the window this...
It's like a big plastic tube slide to toss debris and shit down. Trash.
Right, and it goes right down into a garbage, so that way it's easy to dispose of rather than carrying it up and down multiple flights of stairs or whatever. So they have that. They're all about to die because they're about to blow up a bomb, and she just... knocks something away that they didn't see.
Board. Yeah.
A plywood board that just casually does and pops her head up after climbing this plastic tube several flights.
Yes.
Somehow.
Yeah, 3 or 4 stories.
At least 3 or 4 stories. Yeah. No mention of how the hell she managed to do that in heels.
And how she knew they would be specifically there.
Deus Ex Machina.
To the max. Like...
What are you guys waiting for? Here I am. Let's go.
Yeah, she went off, they broke apart so she could get the military and help them out in this situation. Yet somehow she gets there way before them as well.
Mm-hmm.
For them to, save their...
Well, she had a motorcycle.
They have fucking Hummers
I
that could go over the terrain instead of staying the roads. Yeah.
It's like the laziest part of script writing. Like, at least find a way to make it plausible, the fact that she located them in a giant town and knew exactly where they would be, let alone climbing this
well, she knew the building they would be in, so she knew that building.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Because they told her, because before she departed, he's like, we're going to be here. This is, but you have to go find the army.
Honestly, I wanted her and the main guy to make out more. when she left. Right when she left, and then you realize you dropped that bomb on me, and like, wait, she's over 21. Yeah. And I didn't think about that the whole entire movie. I'm like, I'd rather him hook up with her. And no, you're right. I don't want her to hook up with him.
Right, because they established him liking this his friend's sister.
Yeah, but like she's been around forever.
Right.
They grew up together essentially, and they've never had any interest in each other. So like, know what?
There was an interest he had for her, but
but like, there's no signs of that ever doing anything.
No,
and it's like a traditional story that I would have liked to see that not happen, and him make out with the hot 21-year-old.
Yeah, but
again, I didn't realize she was 21.
The sister was the main reason for them really going and saving them. Yeah, if it wasn't for her, they wouldn't have given a fuck about going in to this senior party, this super secret senior party, and saving these people.
Did you care about the main characters? Like, if they were gonna blow themselves up? Like, were you like, oh my god, thank God that the hot chick showed up to save them? Or you're like, oh, okay, I accept this.
I liked them enough as a team. Like, I knew they wouldn't let them die like that, because, once again, it's a script written by what felt like a 15-year-old, so that's just not something a 15-year-old would have done. He would have come with some asinine Deus Ex Machina to save them. And, yeah. I was hoping for something a little more clever, but no, that did not happen. But it is what it is. I didn't feel like there, as much as we gave this movie shit about too much character arc and character development, I would like to see that relationship between the main protagonist and his friend's sister explored a little bit more. So I at least felt like his actions were a bit more genuine.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I'm looking at IMDb right now. The character... Sorry. The character that played... Go back. Come on. Jeff, who was the douche.
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, Jeff is the douche.
Was Patrick Schwarzenegger. Son of...
Fuck you, seriously?
Arnold.
Really?
Yeah. According to this, I had to click on his name just to verify, but yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger's kid.
Crazy.
I mean, how many Schwarzeneggers are in Hollywood, I guess. But yeah, I did not know that.
Oh.
So little fun fact, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, overall, this movie, it's just... It could have been so much better. I really wanted to like this movie. Yeah. And I just... It's forgettable at the
end. Right. No, so, with Augie, the fat friend, finding them at the police station, that's also super convenient, because it's a large town, relatively. And just him happening to come across their car outside.
Oh, okay. I could kind of say, okay, he just burnt his troop leader and tied him up, so maybe he wants to go find a cop.
Okay, yes.
So he was walking to the cop station.
Okay, I will totally give you that.
And then he managed to see their car, when
you think about it, didn't suffer a lot of damage after hitting a deer.
But it didn't. That front end, immediately I'm like, man, that car would have been jacked up.
Right? Like,
not a flat tire.
Yeah, like, there would have been like a completely broken window instead of that little crack in the corner. The hood would have been just dented to shit, yes. Yeah. But, yeah. Weird.
Yeah, I don't know. So, I don't really have anything else to spoil except from Stretch Dick
Stretch dick. No, that's really. Those are really the points that stood out.
Yeah, there is some cool elements in here that I would, like, again, suggest watching it for free, but not really going to see anything. There's nothing extraordinary for you to spend 10
No.
$15 on this movie by any means.
All right.
So, that's it.
All right. Thank you for listening. We'll catch you next time. Bye.